Application Cinema Beverages Holding Company LLC doing business as Kendall Square Food and Beverage Services applied to Newcomb and Victualler Wine and Malt Beverages license to be exercised at 1 Kendall Square, number 1900, in whole of said theater building, 22,500 square feet, consisting of 3,600 square foot lobby, bar, and service area, 9 theater auditoriums, liquor storage, and 2 locked and secured stock rooms. Howard Sandler, proposed manager. The hours are 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday.
Good evening. Could you please state and spell your names for the record?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Andrew Upton, UPTON, for the applicant. With me is Howard Sandler, Sandler, the proposed manager of record.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. We are applying for a wine and malt license for the Kendall Square Theater. I can tell you that the trend in the theater industry is to increase amenities and services. Among those are better seats, better food, and better drinks, which include alcoholic drinks. In Massachusetts, right now, I can think of approximately 20 theaters that have alcohol service. Those include the Davis Square Theater in Somerville, the Assembly Square Theater in Somerville, the IMG Theater in Boston Common, the Regal Cinema in Boston down by Fenway, as well as cinemas in Framingham, Methuen, Tingsboro, Dartmouth, Dedham, and many, many others.
Chestnut Hill.
Chestnut Hill. I believe that the Icon Cinema is proposed to be built in the Seaport. Has been granted a liquor license, although the theater itself has not yet been constructed. Just to give you an overview of the Kendall and its unique status and history, I'd like to turn this over to Howard for just a minute, just to give you sort of a flavor of what that place is all about.
Sure. So, good evening again. Kendall's been around since '95. I've been there myself since 2005, and having worked at other chains in the past, I can say that Landmark and the Kendall specifically is quite a different theater than your run-of-the-mill movie house. From the design of it, when you walk in, you have art over the concession, just to the complete layout, to the staff that works there. They're all movie buffs. You know, we love our staff to spend time talking to the customers about the movie they just saw. The food items that we have are different. We serve like edamame, which you can't find at every theater. The movies we play are what I think separates us from everyone else. We tend to play to an older crowd, some might say more sophisticated crowd. We have movies that you can't find at the big screens. People search us out with the movies that are playing, opposed to seeing a trailer on the TV and saying, oh, I want to go see Captain America. You know, they know of a certain director and the movie that they've been working on and when it's going to be released. And they know that they can come to the Kendall to find that because it's the only place playing, sometimes in the entire state. So I think the Kendall is very unique. I think we've got a great audience, returning audience that comes to us. Like I said, we do cater to an older crowd. We don't have many kid movies, maybe one every other year from a director over in Japan. But that's about it.
So that's the overview of what the Kendall is. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it to begin with. I did hand out the current menu. I think some of that is the upgraded menu as well. Yeah, that's on the Howard was saying that.
Yeah, just to speak on the menu, I mean, a lot of this is stuff that we've been adding over the years with a new cooking device that we have that allows us to do that. And I do know that I've been working with our concession director to bring in more hot food items and some more snacks that will certainly pair well if we're lucky enough to get granted the license.
Does your proposal for this plan also the service into the theater? Or will this be kind of how it is in Assembly, that you pick it up and then you take it yourself to the theater? How exactly is it going to work?
You'll pick it up, you'll take it in. There'll be no waiter or waitress service in that. So, as the board's aware, there's a heightened standard for granting a license in this type of application. We need a consensus among local residents and businesses that there's an extraordinary public need for this kind of public enterprise. And in order to show that we do that, we have circulated a petition among customers of the theater, and I am happy to say that we have, I think, over 900 people who have signed saying that they want Pier 1 to continue. We have also met with the East Cambridge Business Association, and we have secured a letter of support from them, as well as from City Councilor Toomey. We've also made outreach to the East Cambridge planning team. They determined they did not want to have a meeting with us, although one of them said that they thought it was a good idea, and they told us, and I believe 1 or 2 members attended the East Cambridge Business Association meeting as well. In addition, we have been planning this application for, I would say, more than 18 months, and during that time, it took us a while to get the landlord on board, and then the property changed hands. That's why we didn't apply last year. But during that time, Howie has made extensive outreach to local residents and businesses. He's on scene 50 plus hours every week, and he has probably talked to, I would say, dozens, if not hundreds of local residents and local businesses. And we'd like to submit for the record a couple of local businesses who took the time to publish letters in support.
Do you want to give me the
Yeah.
letters or
They
the
don't do good
petition
sitting there,
as
do
well?
they?
Yeah,
Have
thank you.
letters of
We
support.
do have the one for State Park. That was the only one that we have received.
I thought I had.
Okay, yeah, they said they were going to email, so we brought
Yes,
copies in
Councilor
case that
Toomey,
didn't happen.
Unless you did that to right.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
So in terms of the extraordinary public need, it's fairly clear that this is a unique theater in Cambridge and in the neighborhood. We think of it as the cultural center of Kendall Square. Just to be clear, it will not be a bar scene or a gathering drinking place. Our statistics show, and market research for other theaters show, that first of all, 70% of national movie patrons are 21 plus. I think it is fair to assume that the Kendall crowd, given the movies that play, is probably significantly older than that.
I would agree.
Research also shows that 1 in 10 people would consider having a drink. And typically when someone has a drink at a movie theater, only 1 in 10 of those returns for a second drink. And the main reason for that is the sort of the nature of the movie-going experience. There's no intermission, there's no timeouts, there's no half times. Once you sit in the movie, if you get up to get anything else, you're going to miss 10 plus minutes of the movie. So sort of the structure of how movies work is the main reason hardly anyone ever gets a second drink. The only time we see people coming out of the theater is to go to the bathroom. But most people are paying money for popcorn and a ticket, and they don't want to miss the theater. So part of this is that it's a competitive environment for the entertainment dollar. Theaters have to innovate, they have to serve the customer. Otherwise people can stay home and watch movies on their phone or their iPad or their iWatch or whatever they have. And we feel there's a need to support this theater as a community resource and one of the few standalone non-megaplexes in the area. Cambridge residents have told us and told Howie that they want alternatives to the Die Hard 5 and Mall Cop 3, those type of big budget films, and the Kendall certainly serves that need. I know the commission looks to us to show that there'll be no unreasonable noise from within. I think that's pretty clear. There's been operating for many years. There are never complaints about noise from what I can see, and we don't expect this to increase. You also look to prevent patrons from filtering outside and making noise that's audible to residents. It hasn't been a problem. We don't expect that someone who has a drink 2 hours before they leave is going to be any rowdy than the current patrons. So we told you it's a local theater. It's movies that you don't get in the megaplex. We have an older crowd. I can tell you that We met with Andrea Boyer to talk about best practices in alcohol service. We gave her a tour of the facilities. We described how we would operate the sale and service of alcohol. She had a few minor suggestions, but overall I'd say she was relatively comfortable with the program we presented. The Kendall's parent company operates numerous theaters,
I think we have about 70 throughout the country right now.
many of which serve alcohol. And I will submit a what we call the Cinema Bar and Lounge Operation Plan. This is,
Is this what you just mentioned you presented to Ms. Boyer?
we discussed with her, yes. And when we talked about it with her, we did tell her that, this is an outline of a plan. This is the type of plan we typically use. There are some things in there that don't necessarily apply, and, should we be approved, this would be the outline that we would fine tune for our practices. But, it's our way of saying, we've done this before, we understand the process, we take it seriously, and that's why it's written down. Again, we're applying for wine and beer only. We don't see the need for spirits here. We think there's a little bit of, a little margin of safety by having beer and wine only. We're going to have local beers, craft brews. We have substantial food now to go with it, and the food will only expand. I think we have a good applicant. We have an experienced manager. We have the national experience. We have established policies. I told you it'll be relatively low volume of alcohol service. I can also tell you our policy will be to card or ID every person that comes to the bar. So if I were there with a guest or significant other, I could not pick up 2 beers and bring them in because I need to show 2 IDs and we need to see 2 people with them. So I think our policy of doing that is an added margin of safety and is probably considerably stricter than many establishments in the area.
Counselor, I'm sorry, I didn't see a floor plan. Did you submit one?
There is a floor plan attached to the application on number 14, which I have tabbed and can show you for mine if it's somehow not in there.
Yeah, if you can show it to me, because I went through the file and I'm again going through it as you're speaking.
It's after the corporate documents and before the proposed menu, but here it is. If it didn't make it into there.
Thank you.
So as you come into the theater, you go through the doors, you buy your ticket, and there's the snack bar. It's sort of along the left-hand wall, where it says bar at the end there will be where we store the alcohol. And so we want it to be a little bit isolated, so if someone comes to get, candy or popcorn in case they're underage, it's a little bit segmented. And we'll also make the IDing not slow other people down. So we feel that the public need for this is extraordinarily strong. The character and fitness of the applicant are clear, and we're certainly glad to answer any questions.
The entertainment application that's currently held is held under Silver Cinema Acquisition Company. Are you guys changing that at all, or?
We probably won't change this. This will be a concessionaire operation. So we will hire a subsidiary to hold the license and serve the beer and wine. And we'll have the right of occupancy through that concession agreement to be on premise.
But that's not before us right now.
I think that's...
Don't confuse me, Mr. Upton.
Okay, I will not.
We have Cinema Beverages Holding Company LLC before us as the proposed holder of the license, correct?
Yes.
And that is not the concessionaire. I mean, that's not like someone separate from who will be there with the alcohol, correct?
No, that is who will be there with that.
Okay. But the current entertainment license is held by Silver Cinema Acquisition. That's not changing. That was my question.
That is not changing either. No.
Okay.
Quick question, Council. So I noticed that the alcoholic beverage cups or containers will be different from the non-alcoholic to distinguish them. Is it your intent that all of these will be plastic, whether it's wine or beer? There won't be glass going
No
in?
glass.
It
We
might be in
don't
there.
allow glass into the theaters as is.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, we
I
wouldn't want to have that.
I might have missed it in my reading,
Yeah.
but I was just,
No glass.
And there's not gonna be any major renovations done for, you know, to make this work?
No, I mean, adjusting the bar, putting the tap lines. I believe that the revenue that we're expected to generate from this and the increased ticket sales, we're trying to use that to encourage the landlord to spiff up the lobby a bit. I'm hoping that's all going to work together, but it's not a big capital expense to put this in.
And the bar area where you will be dispensing the alcohol from, there are no seats there or anything, it's just like a counter bar, correct? Or do you expect to have seats there as well?
Currently as is, there's no seats, but there is, right behind it to the left, there's an area where benches are, so I guess there are seats, but there are benches over there. They might want to put in, you know, a couple stools with high tables just while they're waiting to get into the show.
Right, but that would be more of a lounge area.
Yeah, but not
There
really,
will
we're
be
not creating a whole
There'll be no bar
sit-down
seats.
type
Oh,
bar.
yeah.
I do know the theater, I
Okay.
know that they're, yes,
Now, you indicated that there was not going to be any wait service?
Correct.
Now, what does this document represent?
That document represents the policy outline that the company uses nationwide. So, should we be granted a license, we would use that as a template and adjust it based on our conversations with the board, with you, with management, to put in specific policy.
and the hours, because for example, this one has hours that are different from the current hours that you're applying for and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, that is an example policy.
Okay.
And Mr. Sendler, you've never been the manager on a liquor license before, correct?
That's correct.
How long have you been with the cinema?
I've been with this company for 11 years. I've been running theaters for close to 20 now.
And are you familiar with the rules and regulations of this board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts with regards to the sale and service of alcohol?
Yes.
Do you understand that we expect you to stay up to date with those rules, laws, and regulations?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
And he has already inquired about 21 approved. We've already discussed.
Anyone in favor of this petition? Anyone in opposition to this petition? You guys ready to vote? I would vote to grant this application.
Wait,